Everyone's talking about housing prices, but here in Greater Moncton, the story is balance, not chaos. Let's look at what this really means and what's happening behind the numbers. The headline this month, about 1 in 3 listings in Greater Moncton have cut their price and total inventory has climbed to around 1,330 active listings. If you've been wondering whether the market is slowing down, stabilizing, or about to turn, you are not alone. Let's unpack what this really means if you are thinking about buying or selling this fall, and if you need more specific information for your area or situation. Later on in this video, I will tell you how we can connect. What we're seeing right now is a shift, not a crash, not a boom, but a gentle move towards balance. And what we are seeing here in New Brunswick is not the same as what's happening in other parts of Canada. For the last few years, sellers could potentially list on a Thursday and be reviewing multiple offers on a Saturday. Now, homes are sitting a little longer, and that is okay. But you might be wondering, why are they sitting? There are 2 big reasons. First, some sellers are still pricing based on the energy of last spring or even COVID times, when buyers were desperate and they were probably trying to get in before the rate hikes. And second, supply is growing faster than demand, which is giving buyers more time and more choices. This is something that you would expect from a normal market and at this point in a normal market cycle. From where I'm sitting, it's actually a healthy thing for everyone. Active listings, we are at 1,330 and that's up 14% compared to this time last October. And new listings this month, we saw 478, which was basically flat year over year. Supply is sitting at 4.1 months, and I would call that a sweet spot. We are definitely in a balanced range. Now, for a little context, in 2022, we were hovering around 2 months of inventory, which was an ultra seller's market. Homes were being snapped up faster than they could hit Realtor.ca in some cases. So fast forward to 4.1 months, we're balanced. There's enough inventory to choose from, but not enough to drag pricing down. This is what a steady market looks like: more conversations, a little more negotiation, and ultimately, more realistic deals being made. Now, demand has not disappeared. We had 324 closed sales in October, which was up 12.5% from this time last year. That is a solid number, especially considering the current interest rate environment that we're in. Those buyers shopping mostly in that $300,000 to $450,000 range, which I call the heart of Moncton's family market. These are your 3-bedroom detached or semi-detached homes, often in established neighborhoods like Moncton North or Central Dieppe, or in some other older neighborhoods close by. There are schools and parks and lots of amenities for families to enjoy. So even though higher-end properties are taking longer to move, that mid-range is still seeing consistent activity. It's slower paced, but it is steady. Let's talk about pricing. The average sale price in Greater Moncton came in at $382,735, which is down almost 1% from last year. The median price, which is a better reflection of what most homes are selling for, was $360,000, up just over 1% from last year. But what does this tell us? It tells us that prices are holding. We're not seeing sharp decline. We are seeing a plateau. CREA has called this a market moving towards balance, and that's exactly what's playing out here. No panic selling, no fire sales, and no major drops. The data is showing us that our market is slowly finding its footing. Now, if we zoom in a little bit closer, the story does vary depending on where you are in Greater Moncton. The hot zones right now, Dieppe continues to lead the way with modern homes, lots of schools, great family-friendly layouts, and demand. Riverview is also steady. People love the community feel, and even with more listings, homes there are selling in about 25 to 30 days, often close to asking. The softer zones, well, that would be Moncton North or the West End, and those homes have seen more volume. Also, areas in around Shediac are seeing longer days on market and listings are piling up there. Days on market in those zones are about 40 to 50, and we are seeing price reductions or even negotiated sales about 3 to 5% below the list price. So if you are buying in those softer pockets, you might be able to score some leverage. You'll want to work closely with your realtor to review the sold data on those comparable solds when you're crafting your offer. If you're a seller in those hot zones, things are still moving fast. You just have to come in at market value. And the same comment would apply that I just mentioned about working with your realtor and the sold data. This is where the balance really shows. The median days on market is sitting around 36 days, which is up slightly from last year, but it's improved from September. The sale to list price ratio is 96.8%, which means sellers are not quite getting their full asking price. And you're probably thinking, is this bad? And I'll tell you, it depends. Roughly 2/3 of all homes are now selling below asking, and that's okay. It's just the market finding its equilibrium. So again, if you are a buyer, it could be your cue to negotiate. You will want to potentially ask for inspection credits or see if the seller can cover those small repairs that pop up. So if you are a seller, you will want to price your home to attract offers, not just to test the market. The homes that sell fast are the ones that start right where the buyers are searching. Also, as a full service realtor, I have noticed a sharp difference in having the honeydew list complete when the listing goes live. In some cases, I have my pros take care of these tasks so they are done. And I'm happy to chat more about what that looks like if you want to connect. My day-to-day interest rates are still a part of the conversation. As of early November, the average 5-year fixed mortgage rate is sitting around 4.59% with RBC. And here's what that could mean if we put it into plain English. If you are buying a house that's $375,000 with 10% down, your mortgage payment comes in at around $1,990 a month, plus your property tax and insurance. Now, if rates were to slide to 3.9%, which isn't unrealistic if things continue the way they have been, and into 2026, the same home could cost about $1,830 a month instead. Yes, that's a small difference, but the $160 every single month is about $2,000 back in your pocket at the end of the year. And in terms of buying power, that's nearly an 8% lift in what you could afford without spending $1 more. That's the beauty of being in a market like Moncton. Affordability actually means something here. You can still buy a detached home for what people are paying in Toronto or Vancouver for a 1-bedroom condo. And if rates do dip a little bit further, that window of opportunity for buyers gets even wider. Economists from RBC and CREA are all using similar language right now. Soft landing, not a crash. We are seeing more expired and withdrawn listings in our market, mostly because sellers have been testing higher prices and then pulling back. But foreclosures and distress sales remain extremely rare in our region. This is not 2008. This is just a cooling from record highs into more sustainable balanced market cycles. For buyers, you have probably heard me say this same statement for the last few months. This is your moment to shop smart. You'll want to look in areas where potentially a higher inventory has built, like Moncton North or some of the older suburbs, where you could potentially negotiate more. Know that you have options, and for the first time in a long time, you get to take your time. But don't wait too long, because if rates do dip as we head into the new year, more buyers could potentially jump back in, and that balance could change. For sellers, your key advantage is presentation. Homes that are clean, bright, and staged. And I don't mean bringing someone else's furniture in, I just mean using your items and rearranging that. That's something that I love to give advice on and have a team of people that can help with. Those homes often sell in under 30 days. You'll want to price according to today's comparable sales, not last spring's headlines. Also consider some creative incentives or tackle the items on your honeydew list like I mentioned before. And if you're not sure what that even means, you can contact me, or you can actually have your home inspected by a home inspector. This inspector should be able to outline everything that would make up that honeydew list. As we head into the winter months, I am watching a few things closely. Where the months of supply goes, does it hold steady around 4 or edge toward 5? How quickly price reductions convert into accepted offers? And of course, whether rate cuts in early 2026 reignite demand. If you're curious what's happening in your own neighborhood, drop the name of your subdivision or a price range down in the comments below. I'll reply personally with a micro update for your area. And if you are planning a move in the next few months, whether you're buying or selling, or you're just exploring your options, you can click the first link down in the description and we can put together a step-by-step game plan that fits your goals. I'm Cameron Brioux, a realtor in Moncton, New Brunswick, and this was your Greater Moncton real estate market update for October 2025, and I will see you in the next video.